Hello.
Hello, hello everyone. This is my name is Vin Casey. I'm with Yasserel and Ryan. This is our project, Student Plus Plus. The purpose of this project is to help the students to stay in the line with all the to track all the assignments and so things like that. So with our recent pandemic, students' life has changed drastically to be a mix of in-person and online learning. With this change lies an issue where the students may find it harder than ever to immerse themselves and reap the full benefits of the problem with their education. Our software system plans to provide an aid solution to this problem via web applications. With our web app, students will have the students will have access to an intuitive user interface where they can log upcoming assignments by class and add pieces of data such as the type, weight, and expected time of completion. The order in which we complete assignments isn't always the time based, but rather a function of the time that we have to do it. Its weight and the difficulty. Its priority using this data. Our application will provide the student with the priority list of assignments they must complete. After a said assignment is done, the student can use extra features such as the actual time to completion, difficulty resources used. Using these points of data, each individual will also have access to graphical breakdowns of areas that needs improvements, areas where they have excelled, and areas that need more attention, ultimately enhancing the students' focus, effectiveness, and clarity. So basically, the purpose of this, the Student Plus Plus project, is to help the students to stay in the track with all the assignments they have during the semester. Sometimes they might get behind the schedules. Sometimes they may not be able to give it as much time as they have to. So what this is to this application will do is that this will track all the assignments. How much time do they have uh, in order to complete? How much does it take, and how important some assignments or the projects are more important than the others in terms of weight, and also in terms of difficulty levels, or also in terms of the course base. Some courses have a higher weight on some certain project. So I guess this um, project, this web application will prioritize those assignments to do the first. So that way the students can get the more important one the first. Um, so that they can use that. Yeah.
Yeah, agree completely. So yeah, that's kind of exactly what our application is all about. Kind of in terms of seeing how you're doing in a course, there are many different ways that we could view how we're doing, similar to some things that you might see on like other applications like Blackboard. We have things like cumulative total and running total. So the cumulative total is obviously the sum of all the scores we've received in all of our classes. It's easy for us ourselves to kind of keep track of that. But running total is something we usually have to come to a professor for, or something, or bust out a pen and pencil to kind of figure out ourselves. So for example, let's say we're taking a test and we get a 50 and tests are worth 25%. We know we're getting 12.5 of those points to our running total. And then that's how we could kind of keep track of how we're doing in our courses, kind of really see where we stand in terms of like when actually finals times come around, right? Our situation then. So just acting based on due date alone will never really kind of efficiently get work done. For a student, I think it's much more important to kind of prioritize an assignment based on its how much time you have to do it and its weight. So some things are worth more. You have less time to do it. It's more priority. And then there's also the factor of difficulty. So what this application really intends to do is just kind of return back to you kind of all your assignments logged with this priority. And using this too, we could kind of use graphical breakdowns to see how we've really been doing once we update those assignments. So we definitely going to allow students to update their assignments, keep track of like the progress they've actually been making by using data points like time to completion to kind of predict how long it's going to take future assignments to take. Some things like resources used and even score received. So that's how we'll get all those running totals and stuff like that. Yeah, there's our web app is kind of, yeah, it's meant to be a web app, and you can kind of see here our structure of it. So it's kind of a data centered application where we're going to request to kind of update, retrieve, or delete information in some database. And obviously, many people are going to have to be able to use this database at the same time. So we kind of use the model view controller architecture. So it's kind of open to scaling. Many people can use it. Many people can store the things they need inside of it and kind of reap the benefits of using Student++. So yeah.
Right. So yeah, also, in this web application, the users can have multiple courses, and within the one course, they can also have the multiple assignments. They can store, they can track all the past performance, and also that they will, if they want to, they let's say that they want to achieve a certain the goal GPA. That then we do have we do have a function to calculate how much do they need in order to achieve that goal GPA with their current GPA. Whether it will also tell you whether that's the goal GPA can be achieved or not based on the current performance and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's another kind of facet of the Student++ system is kind of being able to determine if you can reach a goal GPA, right? We have expected assignments we have left in a semester. We kind of know what they're worth, and kind of if we know what kind of thing we're aiming for, we can just obviously give our system kind of those pieces of data, give them those assignments, and kind of let it predict or let us at least inform us if we're going to be able to kind of achieve that grade we want to. So that's kind of another benefit of using Student++.
Right. Our web application also will notify the students whether it's by sending the email or um, whether it's in an app or if there is a assignment coming up which is due very soon. The assignment it will notify the students so to get it done.
Yeah, exactly. So as it kind of sees more like impending assignments that are due, like kind of let's say 3 days late, like many other kind of task trapping applications, we definitely need some kind of way to notify the user to kind of when they should do these things. And kind of with this application too, these notifications are kind of dispersed differently based on priority. So you won't really receive a low priority assignment notification very often as much as you would receive a notification about something that's higher priority.
Exactly.
So yeah, and in addition to that too, another kind of facet of our system are these graphical breakdowns. So our system kind of plans to use its data, kind of those updated pieces of assignments, those things we come back to and say, oh, I got 50 on this, I got 70 on this, something like that. We can track our progress through like various amounts of time, right? Whether that be through in a specific course, we see our rise and falls during that course. We can see things tracked via category, whether they be quizzes or exams. We could kind of see our strengths and our weaknesses via these graphical breakdowns, as they kind of let us process information a bit more quickly than strictly kind of looking at our numbers and seeing what we've been doing and kind of interpreting it on our own.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, if there's not really too much else to touch on about the system, let's just skim through here.
So we do have a minimum grade. So we do have the assignment categories. We already talked about whether it's the categories, or whether it's a paper or the programming or the other types. And we also talked about our system is um, very secure. It does the security for us. All of the activities is done.
It definitely prioritizes authorization and authentication before even touching the database. So definitely using Student++ is a big plus when it comes to security and kind of having your data be only your data. But I guess we pretty much talked about all the kind of big points with our system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think we can move on over to some of the implementation of how we've kind of
yeah,
brought our system to life. So with our time constraint, we haven't been able to complete every single facet of the system, such as graphical breakdowns and stuff like that, but we've definitely completed the good foundation and a usable and a useful system. So hopefully in time, it will become everything we see here.
yeah.
So I'll kind of take it over here and kind of demonstrate some of the routes of our backend that any kind of client-side application can use and access. And we'll kind of delve into how our client-side application kind of makes use of this later. So the first thing we'd want to probably start with is our database. So this is kind of our a small example of our SQL database using MySQL. So I'll just kind of clear all of these for now and start fresh. So our kind of database involves 5 tables, kind of a relational database. Our foundational kind of table is our user. So we can kind of see a user is defined by its email and its password. And we have tokens that we distribute to these users to kind of allow them access to our web application in order to prevent them from kind of abusing the database. So we also see our courses kind of tables. So we can kind of see all the courses allotted to different users. So it belongs to different users as we see here. And we can kind of see our categories. So a big thing with our system is the categories part of our courses. Courses can have many different categories based on our syllabus. So like we see many times in our syllabus, like maybe a project is worth 25% of your grade. We'd kind of want to reflect that in our system for sure. So we kind of see that as well as assignments. So these assignments are kind of defined by their name, their due date. You kind of see their perfect score, the highest attainable, and their difficulty, and their course category as well. So you can kind of see a priority being generated for them. So, and other facets of this table. But let's go a little bit deeper into the routes. So I'll try to sign up right now and kind of demonstrate the sign up route. So I'm gonna give in any kind of email here, any email string. I'll kind of say hi5, one that's not already in my database, and kind of demonstrate how this works. So you can kind of see successfully signed up, and we check the database that we successfully have a new user. And if I try to sign up once more, email is already taken, and it kind of prevents any kind of duplicate emails. And moving on over to the login route, we can kind of test that same account, and we'll give it in its password. And you can kind of see in our database, before these passwords go into the database, they are hashed. So that's another added layer of security to your account. So once I kind of sign in here using this kind of email string and password, I get back an access token that allows me access to the application. Without this access token, I am in no means communicatable with the database. I cannot access or update or retrieve anything. And if we try to kind of give in a random password or just a bad string, we can kind of see incorrect password, or let's try to sign in with the email that's not even existent, and we can kind of see user not found. All right, cool. So let me go get my access token and try to use my application. So this is obviously a new user. So starting from scratch, I'm going to go to add courses. I'm going to supply my token to kind of verify that I am who I say I am. So making one class, all it really takes, or one course, all it really takes initially is a name. So that's all I really need to make a course. Although I would like to have course categories, which I can supply as many as I would like to by adding more fields. So you kind of see quizzes are worth 10%. exams, possibly 30%. And we'll just cap it off with final at 60%. So course already exists. That's because this course already exists and I'm trying to kind of remake it with these categories. So let's try to make a new kind of course right here. And now we could kind of check our database and I'll go to the courses table and you can kind of see course 1001 right here with a perfect total of 100 computed based on these categories. And we can also kind of see inside of my categories list, I have some new categories allotted to the specific course, such as we see here. So trying some bad data. Once more, I can kind of give it this. Course already exists. And yeah, I guess that's all we can really test for bad input on that one. But I'm going to supply my token here and test my get courses route that my client side can access in order to retrieve all these courses. So one moment. Oh, I think I possibly changed this. So there is a timeout, so the user doesn't have infinite access to the database. So we're gonna try this once more, and otherwise we'll kind of omit this. Oh, I see. It's using the wrong route. So to get courses, all you really have to do is go to the courses route, part of our backend, enter in your token, and it'll kind of return you all the courses that belong to you. So as you kind of see, we have many more courses in the database, but only ones that belong to us are retrieved. So you could kind of see that initial course where I didn't give any categories, I do not have a perfect total. But the one I did kind of define categories, it kind of did allot me a perfect total to be used to kind of determine my running total. So I can also go and retrieve a course name via its course ID. So we can kind of see right here, each course for every specific user is allotted its own kind of ID. And we could kind of go get its name by simply following this. So we can kind of get the name of that course. So to view courses categories, all we simply have to do is go to the specific route and add categories to it. And it'll tell me all the categories that are part of that course. So as we see with course 1001, I have 3 categories. And with course 1000, I have no categories. And what if I try to use a course that's non-existent? Course does not exist. So there are preventative measures. So get running totals is kind of going to get my total for the class, which is interesting. It's going to kind of get me the scores of all my assignments, kind of based in the same way that kind of my teacher would provide to me. So all I would have to say is the name of the course and get totals. But we know that this course does not have any kind of courses in it, so it will not return me any, and we'll test that out. Course has no categories. So we can try it with our other course, but here course has no assignment. So obviously I can't have a total if I didn't have an assignment to begin with. So to add an assignment, I'm going to give in my token once again, because without it, I am forbidden, as we see here in all of our routes. So course does not exist. So I'm trying to make an assignment for a course that's non-existent to me. So we can see if I try to do this for course 1001, I'll make a homework 1, and try to give it this kind of due date in the future. I'll give it a perfect score of 100 because the maximum thing I can get on it is 100. I'll give it a course category of quiz and try to add this assignment. So it gives me back the assignment with its completion, so it's not completed yet, and it returns me a computed priority. So the priority is obviously a function of due date, the time we have until this date, its difficulty, and its kind of weight. So we can try to do this once more with a homework 2 and see the difference between the priority between a homework that's due sooner. So let's say 517, and let's say it's a bit harder, but yet it's still the same category. We can kind of see it has a priority of 10. So definitely a priority, although it's homework 2. It is worth, it's kind of impending, which probably doesn't really make sense because it's homework 2, but we can kind of see how it's a function of due date and difficulty and course category. So I can also try to call this an exam. So let's call this exam, and let's say study prep. And let's say perfect score. Perfect score would definitely be 100. And difficulty would be 3. And we could kind of see category does not exist, exam. So let's try a different one like final, like we were seeing before that we added. This has a very high priority because it's high difficulty and its kind of course category is weight. But we can kind of also see if we try to mark this with a category, this category kind of is prevented by this backend. So that's the add assignments. But the meeting is ending in 10 minutes, okay. But yeah, so I'm going to skim over a few of these just to get to the front end, but I'm going to log in once more and test the update assignments and get a priority list. So to update an assignment, all I have to do is kind of enter in the name of the class, the name of the homework. So I can also say homework 2, and I could say I got an 80 on it. Oh. Estimated time completion, so this is in hours, and I could probably say this took me about 2 hours. And I do have to give in my token. Kind of see everything is prevented without that token. And yeah, you could kind of see my completion is now true. My priority is now 0 because it's completed. And yeah, so you kind of see perfect score is 100 and where's my score received is 80. Right. Let's try to update our other assignment, and I'll say I got a 70 on that one, and it took me 1 hour. And yeah, we could kind of see a different one returned to us. So we can also go get all of our assignments, but rather we'd probably want the priority list of the assignments in the order that I should probably do them. So I'm going to give him my token once again. So this will give me my own personal priority list. And you can kind of see they're all ordered by priority. So first I have my study prep. Then I have my homework 1. And here, obviously these are at the bottom of the list because their priority is 0. But yeah, kind of see the functioning of our app. I'll bring it on over to React to kind of demonstrate how this client side uses the these routes of the backend. So I'm going to give control over to Yashiro and let him take control here.
Is Yashar there? Is Yashar?
Yeah, I think he's controlling my screen. Yeah, so right now you could just try to enter in that kind of, you could kind of see, you could use the same account that I just used over here if you want, or you can make a new one, kind of test them out.
He said he's Zoom Pros. That's why he's not speaking.
Oh, Zoom Pro.
Zoom Pros. He said his Zoom is not responding.
Okay. Well, if anything, I'll kind of take the control here.
Yeah. Okay.
So kind of, or I'll let him rock. Okay, cool. All right, so I'll kind of demonstrate and we'll kind of wrap this up since the meeting time is running short. I'm gonna kind of enter in that same kind of account that I just used. So if we go back and check my login, I used hive5@aol.com, hive5@aol.com, not AOL, LOL, and password. You can kind of see when I log in here, I have my 2 courses. I can add other ones like CS331, it'll automatically be added there. It won't let me add anything else. And yeah, so it'll kind of always retrieve these, and it'll kind of tell me that I do need a course name. So I can't even access this before I log in. I can also try to go sign up with a new account. So I can say hi6@lol.com, password. I successfully signed up. And I'll log into this one to show the difference in your accounts. And you kind of see I don't have any courses yet for this person. And you kind of see I can add one just like that. Let's go check out those assignments really quickly. So this is kind of mobile friendly, and anyone with internet access and a browser can use it. I signed into the same account, sorry. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign into another account that has more database items. So you kind of see this one has more course values and assignments. This is still a work in progress. Still yet to be fully implement everything in the database. But you can kind of see it is returning me my priority list with my updated assignments. I can go ahead and update these after I make them, so I could try to make one right now. This is kind of from debugging earlier. But I can go and make a new class, CS370, seems fitting. Homework, project 4, due date 2/22, 5/17. Perfect score would be 100, hard, very hard, and we can say homework. So you kind of see this is what's kind of getting sent on our end, kind of similar to, let's say this guy over here. But yeah, we can try that now. And course does not exist. So I'm trying to add an assignment to a course that is non-existent. So I'll try to do this for a course. Let's view my options. Course, let's say 331. Category does not exist in this course. I believe the only one with a category so far is 210. But you kind of see how it does implement those error checkings from the backend. So yeah, I can also update these via score received, estimated completion time. And yeah, so this is kind of where we'll plan to have all of our graphical settings, kind of a very intuitive user interface, pretty easy to use and understand. But that is our implementation so far, I would say. So yeah, kind of hope you guys found this interesting and useful. There's lots soon to come. Very preventative software so far, and already useful in terms of creating priorities and things like that, and keeping track of our courses for us. So all we'd really need to implement going forward is our graphical breakdowns, our notifications, and probably, yeah, that seems about it. And we'd have a very useful system. But I'm gonna cut it short right there. And yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah.